So I just checked out the open beta launch of Warhaven, and I thought I'd just give you guys my first impressions. I literally just got finished playing, and I just want to give you my raw thoughts on the game. Most of my videos are usually a bit more scripted than this, but I've just got a couple notes here that I want to go through and give my thoughts about the game. Also, this video is not sponsored. So I actually had a really good time playing this game. I literally hadn't heard of the game until yesterday when SkillUp mentioned it in his news show. Now this game is taking inspiration from a few games. One of them is probably For Honor. I haven't actually played that game before, but I'm a huge Chivalry and Mordhau fan. I found the gameplay to be thrilling, and I didn't feel like there was anything that was too unbalanced off the bat, but I'm sure they'll be making a lot of balance passes throughout the open beta period. There's a brief tutorial which was honestly pretty helpful for helping to learn the basic mechanics of the game, which aren't too difficult to learn at all. Now, one of the first things you notice about this game is the really over-the-top presentation style. I'm actually totally here for it. I loved it. It was all the cutscenes and the writing in the game all has this over-the-top, really energetic vibe that I actually really liked. It's like this interesting high fantasy mix with a little bit of technology and this cool war setting. There's some really epic cutscenes at the start, which I won't show too much of to avoid spoilers, but if you're into this over-the-top high fantasy stuff like me, it's probably going to turn your crank. I really enjoyed the game's art design and overall atmosphere. I've been hoping for more of a high fantasy fighting game like this, and it seems to be checking those boxes for me. The game has 6 regular soldier classes, as well as 4 immortal hero classes which you can summon in. From these classes you can choose between your sword, spear, warhammer, sword and board, sneaky daggers, as well as using smoke to heal your teammates. That's right, you're gonna heal your teammates with the smoke.
Smoke weed every day.
The enemy is gaining on
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
I tried out all the classes. Blade and Spike are definitely my favorites. Of the immortal classes, Darkgale was my favorite by far. In my very first match, actually, I jumped right in by using Darkgale and tore some guys up. It was awesome. The matchmaking system seemed pretty good. I didn't have to wait more than a minute for any of the matches. Sometimes it only took 30 seconds. And the games that I played were actually fairly balanced, with the end of the match usually being fairly close, so no team felt like quitting outright. At least in the matches I played. As of now, the game has standard battle modes, which is sort of like your objective-based battlefield style modes, and your classic deathmatch. Team play and coordinating with your other teammates is kind of important in this game. You can easily overpower a single fighter with a group of 2 or 3. This can result in giant zergs of players crashing into each other and you getting totally rolled, but it doesn't happen too often. But I also played a few matches on the gamepad, an Xbox controller specifically. It seems like they've actually put a lot of work into making sure that the gamepad has a good experience even on this PC release. It felt really good playing on the controller, so I'm actually considering setting up the game on my TV for my next play session with the game. But personally, I'm a lot better at playing on keyboard and mouse with these sort of fighting games. I noticed that I could use this little base jumping technique to save me some time and surprise my enemies. There's also vehicles and siege weapons like this giant cannon. I saw this thing take out so many people so many times. The second you see that targeting reticle, you just gotta get out of dodge. Talking about performance, I'm running a Ryzen 5 3600X and an NVIDIA 3060 Ti, and I found that the game ran pretty great actually. So I'm running a 1080p panel at 165 Hz. The game actually set itself to low by default for some reason, and it easily saturated that 165 FPS. So at low settings, if you're a high FPS gamer, it doesn't seem like this game is too demanding, which is great to see because it also looks pretty decent. And it's obviously one of those free-to-play games that they're going to be targeting a broad market for, and maybe there's going to be a lot of people who are interested in trying out this game on lower-end hardware. I know if this was available when I was in junior high or high school, I would have been all over it. I decided to switch it to the very high preset and turn on some of the extra graphics settings. I was also using DLSS quality mode here. I found that I got about 80 to 90 FPS in standard battles, and over 100 in deathmatch. At the end of my play session, I decided to play one match using DX12 and RTX Global Illumination. This looked great and still ran about 80 FPS in a standard battle. Interestingly, the game actually has a pretty in-depth progression tree for each class. This comes in the form of the perk system, which gives you special bonuses ranging from damage bonuses, health boosts, and movement distance increases. I hope that we don't see this turn into one of those pay-to-skip type deals that you see in a lot of free-to-play games, which incentivize people to just buy their way to the end of the progression tree to get an advantage. Speaking of monetization, the shop prices did seem a little bit steep, but it is a free-to-play game and you don't need to buy the skins at all. And I was really happy to see that there's a couple skins that you can actually grind towards over time for each class. I'm interested to see how the progression system plays out at higher levels once people really level up their characters. Some of them have effects depending on whether you're with your squad mates, so maybe it could affect tactics once people get to those high levels. Quickly checking out Steam charts, it's had about 8,000 people playing, which isn't too bad. So I haven't checked out any reviews or opinions of the game so far, but let's see how it's doing on Steam. Alright, so it's sitting at a 47% mix. So it seems like some people aren't happy with the way the combat feels, others been having desync issues, and some people just aren't happy with the battle pass. Personally, I enjoyed the combat. I haven't played For Honor though, so I don't know how that feels in comparison. I only had that one desync issue while playing, other than that it felt okay. As for the battle pass, I haven't really looked into that, so I can't speak to it. But yeah, that was my experience with Warhaven. I'd say it was overall positive. I enjoyed playing the game, and I'll definitely be coming back to it in the weeks to come. It's got quite a few elements I really like, and it's a nice free-to-play addition. And it didn't seem to have too egregious of a free-to-play monetization model, although time will tell how that plays out. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I'm on the road to 200, so it'd really make a huge difference to me. Thanks for watching.